This is IGN. Welcome to the Black Parade. This is your IGN review of The Long Walk by Tom Jorgensen. It may not have been the first book the master of horror ever published, but The Long Walk was the first novel Stephen King ever wrote. Written during the height of the Vietnam War, it's a fascinating, primal keystone text for understanding the lens through which King sees the world. And all that remains relevant about the text, translated faithfully by director Francis Lawrence and screenwriter J.T. Molnar, allows this long overdue adaptation to punch above the weight its bare-bones premise may suggest. The rules for the 50 young men who've won a nationwide lottery to compete in the Long Walk are simple. Walk. Don't stop, don't sleep, walk. If a walker drops below 3 miles per hour, interferes with another walker, or otherwise breaks the rules, it's a warning. 3 warnings and you get your ticket. In most cases, that means a bullet to the brain courtesy of the military escort riding along in Humvees, led by the Major, played by Mark Hamill, a roaring parody of machismo and rugged individualism who's something of a godhead in this ailing world. The more the walk winds on, though, and as the elements and the limits of the human body come into play, the better that bullet starts to look for the set-upon young men. Lawrence, who cut his teeth on dystopic fiction with I Am Legend and most of the Hunger Games movies, kicks the walk off within moments of the movie starting, but takes his sweet time before letting the first contestant get eliminated, a moment he punctuates with a cinematic flourish that lands a real surprise so long after the movie started. Every drop of rain, hill, dropped ration, and bowel movement that follows become life or death modifiers of the march. The dozens of deaths that occur as the Long Walk goes are covered plainly and unflinchingly, and by the time the walk is wound down to its final contestants, the ones who got their tickets early on look like the real lottery winners. Lawrence rarely lets viewers off the hook, squeezing every drop of blood out of that R rating and forcing the viewer to be complicit in the violence. Even when we don't see the carnage, Lawrence puts the focus on the terrified faces of the survivors, highlighting the mounting psychological weight being loaded onto them as their bodies start to fail. The violence doesn't take long to become numbing, but that's the whole point here. The Long Walk runs relatively short at 108 minutes, but it feels every second of it. The rinse and repeat nature of the deaths may hold a lot of emotional weight here, but rarely has the hair-splitting thought of shaving 10 or even 5 minutes off a cut felt like it may pay greater dividends, as the pace does start to drag in the Long Walk's second half. Gorgeous though the practical locations may be, Lawrence is only able to squeeze so much visual variety out of those long, verdant stretches of road, though he does break up the drone of the walk with occasional flashbacks to Ray Garrity's home life, played by Cooper Hoffman, which explain why he was so adamant to join the walk in the first place. These flourishes aren't the only changes constant readers will notice, but the detours Lawrence takes from King's source material are all additive. They stay in the spirit of the book and feel respectful to the story, rather than an attempt to change anything just for the sake of it. The Long Walk holds a harrowing and brutal mirror up to its audience, pulling no punches as it grinds its way through dozens of young men who will risk it all for a better life. Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson share the spotlight wonderfully, building a rapport which serves as the only light in what's unquestionably one of the most bleak Stephen King adaptations ever. The repetitive nature of the story leaves the Long Walk feeling longer and longer as it goes, but for all the open-ended questions it raises about a world which would condone and cheer on such violence, the answers it finds in the value of friendship and kindness feel all the more powerful. The Long Walk's IGN score? 8 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest updates on The Long Walk, visit us at IGN.com.
SpokenLayer.